Hello, my name is Miro and thank you for joining me today. Welcome to a very unplanned video. Today I wanted to record a video about my terrarium plants that I got at the beginning of May, which are back here in my Rotsta cabinet, but I just did not feel super confident about that video, not because the plants are not doing well, they're doing really great, but I just am not sure if many people would be interested to see, so I kind of chickened out. I really wanted to show them to you, but I just decided that I don't feel like it. And yeah, I'm not going to do that today. So instead, what we're going to do is we will do some very much needed plant chores. As you can see, I am surrounded by a propbox and plants, so things need to be done. So we are going to do those today in no particular order and with no particular plan. There will be repotting, trellising, retrellising, making some trellises. But before we start, I wanted to show you a couple of Hoyas that I have in bloom. Both of them are Hoya Griffithii, and these should be featured on Hoya of the Week. I don't know though when, because I haven't recorded the video yet. I actually haven't even taken the photos. But this is Hoya Griffithii from China, and it's blooming for the first time. It is a nice big plant with very nice splashy leaves, and you can see the flower. It is a very good size. It is a white flower, and then the back of the flower is a little bit spotted, which I don't know if you can see. It's a little bit spotted. It's sort of like Hoya undulata in that sense, and the flower actually reminds me a lot of Hoya undulata. So this is Griffithii from China, very heavily perfumed, and I'm not really sure if I love it, the scent. And then the other one, I see it's next to me, but I don't know what side because I still don't know how cameras work. This one is Hoya Griffithii IML 1856. This is a much younger plant. I actually got this as a cutting in June of last year, and that one I got, where is my tag? I've lost the tag, but I think that one I got in 2021, Griffithii China. So that one is about 3 years old, or maybe 2022, I'm not sure. But this one is much younger, and it's growing really fast. The leaves are nowhere near as interesting. I actually think they're quite dull, quite plain looking, if we would get in focus. But this is the flower. So it's the same type of the flower, but it is smaller actually. We will compare them in Hoya of the Week, but I just wanted to show them to you because who knows, maybe I'm not going to record Hoya of the Week for those two soon, so you know, we need to see them in a video at least. But essentially, yeah, we will do some plant chores today, and I think I will first start with that prop box in the back, because if I don't, I will knock the plants over that are inside that prop box. So let's just take a look at how the plants are doing there. I can already tell you that things are not going great because this plant got hooked onto something, and now I have a bunch of pon that fell out of the pot, which makes me extremely happy. Just the best mood ever. I'm, by the way, not in a great mood already. This one we need to repot. This one was supposed to be highlighted in Hoya of the Week, and my gosh, we have how many? 5 blooming peduncles, and the flower is very small. I don't have good photos of this one. I find it difficult to take photo of this one, not because the flower is small, but just because it looks very weird. It's a pubescent flower, or not a pubescent, it's maybe like plush, which is, I guess you could say, pubescent. But it's very difficult to take a photo of that type of a flower for some reason. If we could just focus. It's very cute. It's a very nice small-leaved Hoya. It's in a very small pot, and it needs to be moved in the larger pot, and I want to move it in an organic mix. And did I tell you what it is? It's Hoya species Philippines. And the first one that you have seen does not have the best looking leaves. Kind of ugly, to be quite honest with you. This is a type of Hoya sigillatis. When Camilla, I bought this from Camilla also in June of 2023, species Pahang. That's how she sold it to me, but I think this ended up being a Hoya sigillatis, and yeah, I don't know. The leaves are just looking very weird in my care. I think they look a little bit better in her care. I just think maybe too much light, maybe not enough of water, etc. Not particularly attractive Hoya, but the flower is gorgeous. And then I have Hoya rye here that I also want to put in an organic mix. This is from Farah, also from June of last year. This one grew another branch, but I cut it for Carolina when I was in Sweden. It's a relatively slow grower, Hoya rye, at least for me. And then who's the last one? Oh, the last one is what I got when I was in Sweden at the Hoya fair. This is Mamasa from March of this year, and she grew two or three more, not peduncles, two or three more nodes. She was unrooted, and I rooted it in moss, and I think she's okay. I want to take it out and essentially see what those roots look like, and maybe we can put something else other than moss. I don't see any roots on the sides, so I just want to check to see how she is doing. She's growing, so that's a good sign. And now my propbox. So here we have my Hoya carrii, couple of propagations of my Hoya carrii. I have more of them, and one of them is doing better than the other one. The other one is still looking dehydrated, and interestingly, it's the one in moss that is looking dehydrated. So I want to see how she is doing and potentially switch the mix on her. The leaves didn't fall off for that one, but she's visibly dehydrated. It's a larger cutting too, but not that much larger. She has also rooted in several aerial spaces. For the love of all that is holy, would you get untangled? So she is okay. Not all of the leaves look dehydrated, only some of them. I don't know, can we see that they're looking a bit dull? No, we can't see anything. Yeah, that looks a bit dull, doesn't it? But I see there are roots. I'm just going to check, but she's also moving a lot in the pot, so yeah, maybe not too many roots. We'll see. But the other one that I put in mix of moss, cocoa husk, bark, and pumice has a lot more roots. We can see them on the side of the pot even. They were potted at the same time, and yeah, it's slightly smaller, but not that much smaller. So we are going to trellis this one and take it out of the prop box and move it to the bottom of my tent. She used to grow in my southeast facing window, but I think I'm gonna try one in my tent on the bottom. She used to grow in my tent on the top. She did not love it. I got miniature leaves. It was awful. So let's just hope this time it will do better. I also have some microphylla cuttings here and a very dehydrated Holiniana. I rotted this plant, so that looks like crap. Might get another one. Unfortunately, we lost all the roots on this one. Focus is just not showing up to work. She's still alive, but she's taking quite a lot of time to root. I can see like a whisper of a root, so she will need to get into a prop box again. And then I have a Nathalie for sale. I'm rooting this for someone, and she has almost rooted. I cut this several days ago, and already in cocoa husk she is making some roots. My focus is particularly slow today. I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, someone recently asked me for my microphylla, how she is doing. I chopped my microphylla and I put her in this prop box. I have 7 of them, I believe. And these are the 3 of the smallest ones. I have 4 more or 3 more pots, I'm not sure. I put these back because I'm not seeing any roots on the side with these. So just let them kind of stay in the pot, or in the prop box, sorry. These are very, very small ones. The other ones that I have are much bigger. This one actually has roots on the side, so I might take this one out. This one also is the worst looking cutting of microphylla. But I snapped the roots when I was repotting it from Pawn, and the reason why I repotted it from Pawn is that she didn't particularly love Pawn at one point, which I'm experiencing with more and more of the plants that are left in Pawn. Some of them are just now deciding to tank after like 2 years of being in Pawn and doing well in Pawn. So I need to restart them. I always was the plan to restart them, but I was sort of hoping that I will do it on my own terms, but apparently not. This is another one of the microphyllas. And let me just get the 4 other ones, or 3, I don't even know. They are in my grow tent. Don't even know what I was trying to do with my hair let down in such heat. I'm already like not being able to handle it. So these need to be watered, but well, let's just spray them. So these have much more established roots. So I took them out of the propbox. I think this might be even one of the larger ones. Focus again. Yeah, that one, and you can see roots here very, very faintly on the side. I mean, this plant obviously doesn't make big roots. So I might even make a trellis for this one. Let's do that. This one too, you can see the roots on the side. Also looking okayish. Some of the leaves do look yellow, and if I knew where my scissors are, I could take those off. Some of those vines looked bad when we were sort of restarting this. So I think I'm going to make 2 small trellises for these. Yes, I will grow several microphyllas. This one also kind of has a vine here that's lost. Can you see that? And then a root. This one fell over, so it looks a bit wonky. I can tell you this does not readily root, not even in moss. I thought it was going to root much faster than it did, but it really took some time to root, which was a bit surprising to me. And yet this one is also on the small side, but I mean, they will grow. They do need longer time to establish than you would typically expect. I've heard several people say that. Yeah, this one has roots towards the bottom, so I'm just going to spray the tops. Why is this failing me? I think I'm just going to take them all of the propbox at this point. They should all be rooted. So I think what we are going to do now is change the angle and start with my Hoya carrii. It's not the sexiest angle, is it? It is an angle. And let's do the carrii that is in moss and figure out what the heck is up with this plant. I mean, you can definitely see these are dehydrated even on the back. Oh. What did I do? That was caused by nothing. You can see here on the back, super, super wrinkly. Sometimes I knock things over and like it's a mystery how. Okay. Okay, so they're not many roots. They're very, very few actually. So I am thinking, not a fan. She was not a fan of, I really thought that this was gonna root much faster in moss. And like she does have roots. But honestly, like that's all we have, which is not a lot. I mean, she's been in the cup for a very short time. So, you know, let's not criticize her too much, but I'm just going to move her to a mix that is similar to the one that this carrii is in, which we clearly see she's doing much better. She has roots all over, and that is bark, moss, pumice, and cocoa husk. And that mix is where, Miro? Where is that mix? As I said, we have very little of the mix. I did order almost everything that I need. I ordered more bark, but it's not going to arrive for some time. Maybe tomorrow it will arrive, and you know, I just want to get into summer potting. So this one will go back to the propbox. Just gonna put that mix inside. She will look very, very nice once she is established. I can already see like the future for this Hoya, but unfortunately that's not today. That's not today. Okay, so that is one thing done. Now what I would like to do is not something that I would like to do. It's checking this Hoya mamasa, no peltata. They look very similar. They're both small leaf Hoyas. And I hope I do find some roots here. The moss is dry. So let's get in there. I assume that this one has a super shallow root system, but at the same time I don't want to pull in case it's not as shallow. So let's, why is this failing me? I'm not seeing any deep roots so far, which I'm not super surprised, but I do wish she had some. I actually don't even remember if she had any roots. I think I just assumed she has roots when I took her out of the prop box. It was not based on seeing any roots in the box. So maybe she should have stayed in the prop box. I'm not really sure. I don't see many roots, guys. I see very few, actually. Uh-oh. Maybe I should have left it in the prop box. How is it possible that there's still parts of moss that have not been hydrated? What a scam. So there is one itsy bitsy root there. Let's find some more. I mean, she's growing, so I know that she's doing okay, but I also definitely let the moss dry out too much, which doesn't seem to affect it all that much. The leaves do go a bit wrinkly when you do that with this one, but... And honestly, that is also a bit surprising to me. I thought that this Hoya could stand a little bit better being dried out, but apparently not. Maybe because there are not many roots. I'm trying not to pull too much. Okay, these are branching out here. So there are more roots. Oh, we're finding a bigger one, a bigger root. Oh, this one is larger. That makes me incredibly happy because this plant, first of all, wasn't super cheap, but it is not super common still. You can definitely find it. It's not like rare, but it's not super common. It's definitely here in Europe upwards of $50. I think I paid like 60 for this cutting with 4 nodes that it had at that time, or maybe it was 80 euros. It wasn't the cheapest, but I really love this Hoya. I do like to root in moss because they root so well, even the species that are hard to root. I don't like to remove moss, but hey, everything comes with a positive and a negative, I suppose. You just have to really take it slow and be patient, and obviously don't let the roots grow in too much. So that's all the roots that we have. which honestly, not terrible. I will put her back in the same pot, and I'm just gonna keep this moss. And now I'm realizing I don't actually know how I will do this. Okay, this is the tricky part, because these roots need to be inside, and the plant needs to be on top. So I guess patiently I'm going to arrange the pieces one by one. And I do think I will be still pinning it down. Honestly, went better than I imagined it would. Okay, so Hoya peltata. Has been repotted. Okay, so we have several more plants. This is Hoya basie from Sweden, and she also started to grow really, really well. She is in that mix that I showed you, and very nicely rooted. I'm not going to repot this one yet. I think I'm just going to put a trellis for her because she is sort of attaching to everything. So we're just going to make a small trellis for that one. This is occultata yellow, and this one needs to be repotted. It is in moss. It's been rooted in moss. It's very dry, and it will go into a self-watering pot. I actually wanted to join it with this other occultata. This is occultata red. I know, both are looking yellow. They are not both yellow. This one is almost out of bloom. This one also has slightly smaller flower than this one, the red one. And this will be red. I don't have a photo. It bloomed only with one bud. So I didn't take a photo. I will take one when these go darker. But it is essentially, it starts off yellow like this, and then as the days go by, they will start to get redder from the back. You can already see on the back towards the pedicel there, it is slightly reddish or orangish, not reddish, but it will come in. The color takes like a week to fully develop, so they start off yellow and then they go red, which is very interesting. This one always stays yellow. This clone will always stay yellow. It has smaller flowers. So yeah, that one is just yellow. I wanted to pot them together, but I have changed my mind since. Did I change my mind? I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I will just pot them separately into two self-watering pots. Or maybe I will not pot this one yet because it's not yet necessary, though kinda. Maybe I will, because the next size pot that I have is this. No, it's not terribly large, or maybe I will. I'll think about it. I am not going to try super hard to remove all the moss. This is very, very, very stuck. That's the sound of underwatering. Oh my god. Okay. So, oof. Yeah, I don't know. Do I even try? There is perlite and moss. It could have grown larger too. It's always underwatered, so. I love how I also potted this. You can totally see I didn't have enough moss to fill that pot. I'm going to try to break up the root ball at least a little bit. But I'm not going to go crazy if it doesn't want to be detached. I'm not super worried even if I put her in self-watering because it's not, I mean, this plant likes water. And let's face it, I'm sure I can underwater if I put in moss and self-watering. I have like so much faith in my underwatering skills that I don't believe that even that is gonna stop me. And you know, worst case scenario, I just have to reroot it, so. Plus, for all of the lechuza people, they just say to put pon around the original substrate when you put in a self-watering pot and not to remove anything. So, how bad can it be to just leave this and put bark around, right? If they claim that works, which I wouldn't do. It's actually so far not that difficult, says he as he removes part of the root system as well. So maybe I do need to repot the other one as well while I still can to a larger pot. Oops, we definitely got that big chunk off. I love how I said I'm not going to take all of the moss off, and it seems that is exactly the direction in which I am heading. We got most of the moss off. I am going to stop there. There was a bit of root rot, but again, it's most likely dry rot. I'm not going to reuse this moss because there's roots in there. I'm going to use these self-watering pots from my friend Farah that she gave me when I was there. And again, the mix, which we are super low on. Okay. And then she's going to get one of these and a pot. She's done. I will mix a bit more of that mix with probably the last bits of the stuff that I have. Let's do bark, some cocoa husk, that was a bit too generous on the pumice. Actually want more pumice. It's a bit dusty. And then I do have moss prepared here, but it is dry. This is moss that has been rehydrated, but it did go a bit dry. So I'm just going to do a bit of it in there and, you know, sort of get it distributed across the mix. Mostly for wicking properties, but it also helps with the moisture a bit. So it's not too much of moss. I think it's a very nice balanced mix. Now what we will do is the other occultata, and with the other one we are risking the buds blasting, which is not the most fortunate thing, but you know, she will rebloom, and I'm just gonna try to do it in a very gentle way. Because, you know, we are at that point where it can just get out very easily. See, that wasn't even that hard. That was great. It was probably the best time where I could have repotted this one. Could I have waited a bit more, perhaps? Yeah. Oh, what am I doing? What is happening today, this week? What is happening? That's good. Let's put one of these, which is not fitting. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be awful to take a photo of. But we might need to wait for her to grow to get a good flower photo, because that's just not gonna photograph well. I do have one more from Sweden that I want to repot, which was here. No, two more. This one I just want to get rid of moss. I think I'm going to put it potentially in the same sized pot, or maybe just slightly larger like this. This is Hoya Amrita, and they tend to like smaller pots apparently. She did bloom, did not take good photos of the flower. I'm sorry. So this one is not too grown into the moss, so we can sort of shake it off almost. Which really is the stage where you want to be, where you are repotting for moss. But do I always repot at that stage? No, I do not. And the only reason I'm repotting for moss, you know, it's just, it goes dry. It goes dry. It's sometimes really hard to keep it moist at all times. Maybe it doesn't need to be moist at all times, but you know, for me, it's just crunchy dry all the time when I forget. And while they can stand it, they would just grow a little bit better. And obviously we want to get bigger Hoyas, so I can complain about the lack of space. Otherwise, what is the purpose of this channel? Education? No. We have another Amrita here, which is the frogfoot. I want to repot that one from a mix that I don't think is the best for that one. And I do think these both are Amrita because both have bloomed. I've looked at both. To me, they look identical. The leaf shape is different, but as we know, that does not a species make, nor does slight variation in flower size. They all come from the same place too. So we have to take geography into account. Yeah, I just don't see why they would be different species. And some people say that Amrita even should be a subspecies of Platycollis, which I also agree with, because again, leaf aside, the flower is very similar, and we can easily see how it can be a subspecies of Platycollis versus its own species, but that part hasn't been yet official, I guess. Officialized? Made official? I don't know what I'm talking. Those are good roots. Do I want to put it in the same pot? I think so. I think I'm going to do the same pot for now. That's a little bit more moss than I imagined. And that's actually not going to work. Apparently it needs to be all the way down. Maybe I should put it in a larger pot. Again, a little bit more moss than I imagined. Oh, for the love of falling stuff. I think she's fine in a smaller cup still. So that's what that one looks like. And while we are there, this is the frogfoot. So different leaf shape, really, but same flower type. Medusa is also in moss only. And this one has started to grow really well too. We got 2 new nodes. Can't wait to see the flower. I might upsize this one to a slightly larger cup. We do need to moisten the moss a bit. I was actually surprised to see that this one is such a nice grower. The leaves are a bit smaller, but that's potentially to different conditions and maybe slightly higher light. They do come in a bit bronzy, so that's nice. And the flower, I think the flowers are going to be very small in this one, but I'm interested to see what they look like in real life. This one could probably also go in one of those self-watering pots, but I am trying to save them a bit. Farah will send me a couple of more, so I'm looking forward to that, but until then I think I'm going to save them for something else. Oh, we got a tiny root there. Oopsie. Well, better for it to learn early on that life can be a bit rough, right? There will be less surprises later when I forget to water it, for example. Okay, that's good enough. I feel that's good enough. So we're going for this slightly larger cup. So again, a bit moss on the bottom. The mix. And then Hoya, and some of the roots have started to grow outside of the pot, sort of like aerial roots. So I'm just gonna push them all in there. Oh, I almost crushed my microphyllas. Then they would truly be microphylla. Yes, that's Medusa. What a cute name, Medusa. I don't know if I have a pot for this, so I'm just gonna dump it here. That's rye. Cutting number 1. That one didn't grow. Cutting number 2 is stubbornly stuck. They're looking okay. I actually don't even think... Oh, yeah, I don't need a larger pot. Can we just do the cup? Yeah, I'm just gonna do the cup. I think this Hoya maybe wants to be a bit more on the dry side, so I'm not gonna add moss to the bottom. I'm just gonna sort of go in. Or maybe it wants to be watered more. I've just been keeping it on the dry side and it tolerated it. One of those is true. But in any case, a lot of them tend to really love this mix. Everything that I've repotted so far in this mix has thrived. Should be the same with this one. I love it when a repotting is so fast. And when I postpone it for such a long time, and then I'm like, why was I even postponing that? Let's do the small one. Even though she is in bloom, she does have a significant portion of the root system out of the pod, but I'm sort of going to try to take it all out without too much damage. Oh, I broke off a leaf of rye. I just see that. Dang it. I thought it was going so well. I'm just going to leave that bit of the pawn on it. I think that one can even go in a small cup. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I'm also not going to add moss on the bottom for this one. I think this would look very cute trellised. I do wish I could trellis it, but I don't have so much space to like have everything trellised. This one I grow hanging in my tent. And it looks good hanging too, but I think it will be even cuter. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. She's actually legit cute when you look her up close. Which you honestly cannot see from many things. They look better when they're up close. And I feel there was a third one. There was. It was this species Pahang. Ooh. I think I just might leave it in the same pot. It's not necessary really to upsize it. I just really wanted to change the mix. Maybe she would have benefited from a slightly larger pot. But it's too late now. I don't know, I think I should move it to lower light. I don't know, I don't love it. It also kind of looks like nutritional deficiency to me a bit, if I'm honest. This plant, it's doing okay-ish. It's platycollis. It had like 2 leaves, and those were unfortunately affected by mites. And you can see we dropped some leaves, some baby leaves. And these, you can see they kind of look like they had mites. I have treated it several times, so it's better now. It also has been in too much light, and it has been underwatered many times. I sort of have been keeping it in this self-watering pot as like one of the to-do things, and I think we gotta do it today. So I'm just going to dump this out, and sort of whatever leaves, whatever stays. I'm not going to remove much of the mix. Just gonna massage it a bit to make the root ball looser, but I'm not going to actually remove the mix. because it looks to me that it's been doing well in terms of the root system. So I'm just going to leave it, actually. Don't know if that's a good plan or not. So I'm just going to put it in here and add this mix. And maybe I will add a bit moss around to sort of keep it a bit more moist. It is one of the plants that wants to be a bit more moist. It has bloomed several times. I don't think I have like a great photo of the flower, so something that we need to work on for sure. It's honestly not the best repot that I've done, but it's also not the worst. Okay, we have one more, but my leg is absolutely not present. I think I'm gonna have to do this on my knees. The last one, the Amrita, and the only reason I'm removing this is I think this mix is a little bit too dense. I don't think I'm going to upsize it. I'm just worried that over time this mix got too compacted and that perlite moved to the top. And it is growing. First time for me to see it branch out, but yeah, I just wanna see what those roots look like. See, it's a bit too moist for my taste. It started off great in this mix, but then I think we really, yeah, it's a bit too wet. I think I'm actually going to be able to move it to a smaller pot. I couldn't move it to a smaller pot, and these want to be, again, the people who grow these in the Philippines say they really want to be kept in small pots, right? I didn't have smaller pots at the time when I was potting this. That was like the smallest self-watering pot, and I think now I can move it to even smaller one. I do want to get most of this mix off from the roots, though it's very hard here, to be quite honest with you. I don't know why. It's like super matted, which I guess is good. It's like all the roots are here. I've never seen a Hoya make so many roots from the base. That's super odd. The heck? I think I'm going to stop it here with that and just sort of see if she fits in one of the smaller pots from Farah. Yeah, I think she does. I think I'm gonna put her in that pot. Just shake this off a little bit more. And because there is already cocoa peat, I am maybe not going to put moss in there. Let's just see. And maybe we'll do like a very tiny layer of moss. Okay, that honestly looks better. It was a little bit ridiculous in the other pot. And then I'm going to do the same mix. And we shall see how she does like that. This one might even get the gray outer pot, which, why is it not fitting? Oh, these are not the good measuring thingies. Okay, I think I have used up all the measuring indicators. Yeah, okay, well, this one will be without the indicator, unless I figure something out. This is from Hoya platycalis. The indicators are for larger pots. Okay, I'm going to make some space here, and then we are going to make several trellises. So we need a trellis for Hoya brassi. We need a trellis for two of my Hoya microphylla. We need trellises for two of my microphyllas and for my Hoya carrii. So we need 4 trellises, and in order to do that, I really need to clean some of this stuff up a bit. So I'll be back shortly. I think that looks a little bit better like that. Some superficial amount of cleaning has been done. So now we are going to make trellises. I ordered more of this fairly recently so I can make a bunch of trellises, and the time has come for me to start using it. So I think we are going to do Hoya carrii first. That is the biggest one we need to make. So I think a trellis that height. Oh, you don't see much again. I just need to be shorter. So I think something that's that height is reasonable. Let's see, it needs to go in and up like that. And then down. Let's do just a little bit more. Okay. And then use that one to measure the second one. Though this may not be the best idea because Hoya carrii is, when it grows well, a relatively fast grower. Mine did not arrive the best. If she's unwell, she can be such a horrible plant to grow. It's like either she's going to grow super amazing for you or you're just going to want to burn her in fire. There's no in between, has been my experience with Hoya carrii, but she's such a beautiful and, in my opinion, a unique Hoya that I do think she's worth trying out, but yeah. I don't know if she's an easy bloomer. I don't think I've seen many photos. I'll have to look if there are any new recent photos of Hoya carrii in bloom. But anyway, she didn't arrive that well, and I've been struggling with her since the beginning because she arrived during a heat wave, and then my friend Farah sent me a cutting, but that one also didn't travel well. And that one actually, even though it was a bigger cutting and it looked better on arrival, it just fell apart very quickly, unfortunately. But the first cutting survived and it took some time to recover. Initially it was in my grow tent and it was making these so small leaves. I think the light for it, I would say the light for it was too much, but that's actually not true because then it was in my southeast facing window, which gets a tremendous amount of light, and it did start to push out normal leaves there. So I don't actually know why that is. I kept thinking it's too much light in my grow tent, but then it looked normal in higher light, so I don't know why she didn't like my grow tent. And why am I then deciding to try it again in the grow tent? Honestly, if she was in a self-watering pot, I don't think I would try my grow tent again. But is this the right one? Yes, this one is not dehydrated. This is the one that we need to trellis. Oh, I see stability is going to be an issue. Let's just add a bit more mix to the top of the pot. All of that is a great story, but where are my scissors again? Anyway, I don't know why I'm actually trying it in the grow tent again. I'm just a bit afraid that I'm not gonna water it enough in this setup, because this is not a self-watering pot. And they do tend to dry out quite faster outside of the tent too. Maybe I'll give it a go for a couple of weeks or a month and see how she likes it, and if I see that the leaves are ugly again and small, goodbye to the grow tent. Or maybe I need to put her in my radioactive grow tent, which is the official name of the grow tent. I have decided, the one that is on top of my two ones, because everything grows well there. It's just an amazing thing. Oh, okay. We are having some issues. I also think it would be much nicer if I can cut this vine, because you know how much I'm annoyed with these bare vines, but it will branch out. She's actually quite good at branching out too. At least that has been my impression. And maybe I can actually pin down a bit of the vine. Yeah, I will do that. because then we will get even more of the root system. And it just so happens that I do have the pinning down tool. How fancy. And let's just cover that a bit. That is actually looking cute as heck. Cute as heck. And also not in the frame. Can we just... Okay, the focus allowed me to show you a bit of it. Really, the leaves can get so nice. Betsy once got a cutting from Sweden and the leaves were the size of my palm. I don't know how that happened. I don't see that happening for me anytime soon. She's going to be a little bit unstable in this though. So I guess I'll have to find a heavier pot to sort of serve as the cover pot for it. And then we're gonna make a trellis for my Hoya basie, which now I think maybe I should have repotted, because what is that gonna look like in this tiny pot? Then again, I'm planning to do the same for my microphylla. So, questions, and questions. Okay, I don't think it's the best time to repot this, considering that she is growing. However, I'm going to attempt a non-invasive repot, because I just don't think it makes much sense for me to make a trellis for her, for this small pot, which also now makes me wonder how it will look like for my microphylla, but that's a problem for future Miro, which is going to be 10 minutes from now. Oh, what are we doing? Okay. And non-invasive repot, meaning being as gentle as possible. Oop. That didn't work because there is a lot of space there. I actually don't know how I'm going to do this. There is space there around, but there's no space on the top for me to put any mix in. Okay, we do need something to kind of push the mix down. So we're going from non-invasive to slightly invasive, where we poke stuff around. Let's hope that this line keeps growing, because we know how Hoyas are. Do we want to go this way or this way? Which way? I think this way. And she's one of those that likes to twine, so I don't think we even need to tape her. I'm going to let that tip sort of go. I'm going to actually tape her a little bit here. And that's it. Cute. Also very unrealistically small for something that appears will be a fast grower, but hey. Now we want to give trellises to my microphyllas, and I did forget which of these are supposed to get a trellis. I think this one. And I don't know, that those trellises might be a bit too thick for them. I'm sort of thinking just doing one. Yeah, I don't know, how will that look like if I just do one? I think it will look cute if I sort of just bend this wire, because that looks way too thick. Or maybe not. I'm trying to decide here. Would that look ridiculous? Kind of. I'll try one, and if I don't like it, I can use it on a different plant. Now, I don't think we need a tremendously large one here, so maybe something smaller, like that. Oh wow, tetanus shot after the video, tetanus shot. This will either be great or catastrophic. Psst. No in between. Oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous. You can't see the plant. How will I even make her go up the trellis is my question. Like, how do you how do you do this? I guess with this, but it will just look super crazy because that's just too wide. Maybe I can just sort of twist it around. And then we're not going to breathe towards her or anything. We're just going to leave her like that. We're not breathing because if we breathe... Okay, it's fine. It's stable. It is stable. It is ridiculous. I'll make another one. Oh my gosh, I love when I make a small trellis. It is for some reason adorable. Like even when Hoyas are cuttings and when you put them in a small cup or all of it is adorable. The least adorable thing is when you have a huge Hoya. Who wants that? For whatever reason, even though this one is smaller than the previous one, it just looks better. However, I am struggling to trellis this, as we have noticed. I just don't know. Do I like tie a tiny bit of rope? Maybe I can cut this. I don't know what I'm doing. Cut it. I feel this is work for someone who has very small fingers. That actually kind of worked. Low-key kind of worked to cut it into thinner strip. It still looks ridiculous. So we shall see how she likes the trellis and if she is going to grow faster when she gets to wrap around things. I have been told she does love to wrap around things, so do your job. Do what you allegedly love. It is beyond ridiculous. Beyond. How dare you be this ridiculous? This pot is not also making it. I think I'll put it in pot like this. Sort of to stabilize it. Yeah, that works. Let's fix the camera. There are still things to do, which I will continue off camera, like watering, as always. I never film watering because I never do it. There are also some other Hoyas that I need to repot, but to be quicker with that, because this does take a lot of time to repot on camera, I'll do it off camera. But don't worry, there are just so many plants to repot at this point that we will forever have repotting content. Anyway, you know what to do. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, let me know what plant chores you did, how your week has been. I didn't love this week, honestly. We'll see what the next one will be like. And yeah, that is all. See you soon. See you on Wednesday, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye! I would like to take some time to thank all of my patrons for their incredible support. A massive shout out to my $5 patrons. My 2 anonymous patrons, Alex von Siebenthal, Amber Clear, and Margaret Munt, Angela Bernard, Angela Parrish, and C. Aspen Drake, Betsy, Brett Noble, Candy Taft, Catherine Molina, Christine Claire Cola, Daniela Danube Daniels, Daria Kaminska, Deborah Violet, Deli Heridia, Diane Sikorsky, Dipanjali Rao, Either W, Erin Keenan, Eleni Saxon, Ellen, M. Mortal, Farah, Gathering Moss, Gina Geise, Go Green Tropical, Gross It's Kyle, Heather Uppingham, Hoji Scott, Hoya Heather, Yana Griffin, Jessica Chio, Jonas Barrior, Larson, Jovan Denot, Cara, Catherine P, Casey Gross, Callie Gallagher, Kelso, Kimberly Polka, Kiwi Mochi, Christy Ehrlich, Lisa Mary, MPLS, Lori J. Revert, Mandy Milliken, Marcel Har, Maria Stein, Marina Yarmolich, Mars B, Marty Miller, Mary Rose, Melissa Walker, Michael Curley, Michelle Heron, Nicole Ferranti, Mirka Grun Roos, Mo Edmond, Nelly Yang, Niha Basso, Nicole Maroney, Nanguin, Nita Macy, BJ Planet Druid, Rachel Peterson, Sandra Cornelius, Sherry Kumar, Sophia Rian, Stephanie H2O, Tessa Martins, Tia B, TJWO, Trista Bailey, Tristan Thomas, Wendy Rossman, Zenia Green, Youth of the Volumut, Zaira Rivera, Zordarama, and Zlokov Niponi. A big thank you to my $3 patrons: Angelina Farnan, Kilone Constance, Daryl De Rosario, Eden C, Catherine Parsons, Kent Brown, Elle Lindberg, Lindsay Ann, Mary H, Monica Wykers, Nella, Sykes Zera, Renee Church, Ringlov Tang, Watanas Riakul, and Wendy Foreman. And a thank you to my $1 patrons, one anonymous patron, Alice Borrelin, Brandon Pacheco, Christina Greengrass, Colleen Coyle Levi, Couture Helvetica, Emilia Bronson, Jamie Arsenault, Jolie Sullivan, Kayla Vavra, Kelly Ash, Chris Perez, Lauren M. Lori and Subramanian, Usman Fernandez, Neely Spicer, Nerdy Kathy, Olivia Chinmuller, Sarah, and Tracy the Eibler.